Righto, it's 2 minutes past 9. It's Thursday night and it's a beautiful evening, guys and girls. Lovely to see you. I have shared the StreamYard link, so if anybody wants to pop in and join tonight's show, then please do. My co-host Michael Reynolds sadly can't be with us this week because he's going for a reduction in a certain department operation, and he's not going to be compos mentis. So tonight it's just me and whoever wants to come in and join the show. There's the missus just watering her lady garden. How very nice too. How beautiful. If Carlsberg did councillors, Christy Morris would be the best councillor in the world. Do you know, I have to agree with that. I do. It's lovely to see you all. I hope you've all had good weeks since last week, and what a fabulous show we had last week. And this is growing, guys. The show's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just fabulous to see. We've got Alan Merritt's just about to pop in and see us. We've got Jimmy Smith's in the house. Hello, Jim. Alan's jogged on again. Al, what are you doing, man? Come and sort yourself out. Yeah, Chrissy Morris, I have to say, I'm going to be talking about the Peacekeepers website tonight. For all of those of you at home that are interested in freedom and democracy as much as we all are. And I'm hoping that you're still affording your petrol and your diesels and your council tax and your rents and your mortgages and your food bills, and the list goes on, doesn't it? Eh? Doesn't it just go on? Oh, she's out there now watering her lady garden. She's all over the place, the missus. Anyway, we've got Alan's in. Yes, Alan, how are you, darling? Looking well.
Not good.
Oh, what's up?
Well, I've been getting a lot of shit off Sandy Smith.
Oh, just the thing. Do you know what, Al? It's like sticks and stones, isn't it? I just, mate. It was terrible that he claimed that I paid Manny McGurk £40 for sexual favours. Oh, that's not good.
And then I was looking up women's skirts in a restaurant that we was in, and then I probably went home and had a wank and things like that. And I wanted a chance to go on the show and defend myself. And I said I'd meet Sandy anywhere and have it all out. But he's got on together with Reese and Shane Pugwash, and it causes loads of problems over here. And my wife being end of life.
Yeah.
You know, I've been sitting.
I can imagine now. I mean, the thing is, if you want to make allegations and claims, you've got to bring the proof. I've always said, you know, people have always said over the years, we've got Chrissy Morris, they've said stuff about Chrissy, and I'm like, well, that's fine and dandy, you're saying it, but bring the proof, bring the evidence, mate. So, you know, if anyone was to accuse me of stuff, I'd say, yeah, fine, no problem. Bring the evidence. I want to see it, you know. So, mate, it's sad that's gone on. That is very, very sad. And it's sad that in essence, we're all sort of fighting amongst one another. Which
jokes have been made about me, Dave, and it's not fair that I can't defend myself. Should have the right to be able to defend myself.
Yeah, sure enough.
And at the end of the day, whatever been said and done, you know, people can make up things and say things, and he said, she said, gets really out of hand. And words that Sandy's saying, things about Sandy's saying about the mutilation of Jane's hands and things like that, that didn't come from me. It's come from other people. I've cried before now when I've done interviews with Jane and known about her fingers and things like that. But those words, if they've got proof of evidence, bring the proof to the table. You've had plenty of chances to do this.
Stop it's sad, isn't it?
Witch hunt, which is horrible because, you know, we're all child abuse survivors, and the witch hunt against each other is not any good.
No.
And I would say to Sandy, you know, if you're accusing me of doing something and I've offended you, I will apologise. But don't accuse me of doing something that I ain't done. I didn't ask Mandy for sexual favours. They were in the van, carrying a motorhome, and they was something about bedding. They didn't get the bedding. There was alcohol, drugs involved or something, and they was in a car park, and there was so many Muslims. This was after the PCP event or Sandy Smith's do in outside the Senate in Cardiff, and I went down to give them support and so on and so forth. And then I was supposed to be part of the Magnificent Seven. I made a speech and everything else.
Good film.
When I got down there, I thought it took me, I don't know, 6 hours or something like that to drive from Lincolnshire to Wells, Cardiff Bay. And when I got there, I think it was 10 o'clock in the morning, left about 4 o'clock or something like that in the morning. And I got there about 10 o'clock, and then I'd done a live from outside the Senate. And then I thought, I'm Hank Marvin, I wanted to go there for something Tucker. I don't do
that. Why not?
So I went to a Wetherspoons to get breakfast. And then when I went over there was Mandy McGurk, she was crying her eyes out about what had happened the night before. And I had no part of that because I went at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got there at 10 o'clock. I stayed for the filming of it. And then I went and had the meal with him in the evening. And this is where I've been accused of paying Mandy for sex, looking up women's skirts, and also, you know, and I put Mandy 40 quid to get a room because of the hotel, because of the motorhome. And I had somebody else to give my room, and I would sleep in the car. And then at the restaurant, I was supposed to have looked up people's skirts and then probably gone off for the wank. These are the words that have come out of his mouth when he did a live a couple of weeks ago on a Sunday night. They're all on evidence in tape. If
you two good buddies.
I thought we were brothers from another mother. He classes as the Magnificent Seven. Where this is all stemmed from, I don't know. Why he's gone? Why would you do that though? Why?
At this moment, it's just allegations. Look, if I took any notice of all the things that people have said about me over the years, oh my goodness, I'd have probably been in a mental institution right now. I just laugh. I just think, righto, no problem. Say it, but where's the proof? Where's the evidence? And
I was speaking to Mikey just a minute ago before he went out, because he's just gone out. And I was speaking to Mikey.
Oh, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, love his art.
He's just gone out, and I was just speaking to him, and he said, hello, Al. And he said, you know what he said? What made me feel really, really proud? He said, Al, you're not like that.
No, you're not like that.
Those were his exact words. He said, Al, you're not like
that. You're not that kind of man.
Listen, look, Dave, if I've done something wrong, I'm going to be the first one to admit I've done something wrong. Whatever's been said and whatever's been done, you know, if it's going to fucking make headline news, then fine. Call me whatever you want to fucking call me. But if do it with proof, don't do it one hearsay. And it's been horrible to go through this, knowing that my wife's in palliative care. And you know, the last 2 days I've been there, I broke down today in terrible tears, and it's just not nice.
You're gonna.
I've been with 40 years.
Look, if I had any spoil with anyone, because I don't really see the fruitfulness in picking spoils with people, but one thing I would do is I'd ring them up and I'd say, you know,
he won't answer the phone to me. He won't let me go on his shows to defend myself. And
I'd let it go, Alan. I'd treat it like a fart.
I'd let it go when you're going through all this shit. I've got enough on my plate without being put on a, you know, I never said these things. He's making out that I'm saying, you know. And
You
all
just
I
have
want
to-
is a
you've got
chance
to
to
do-
defend myself. And you know, if I've been accused of something, it's just not fair, David.
No, it's not. No.
Why?
Well, because it's the with what we do, it comes with responsibility. You have to. But I mean, I've done things in the past on social media. I'll probably sit here and think now, oh, actually, I probably weren't, best to have done that. But I've done it nonetheless because it felt right. I've never really gone out and attacked anyone outright. That's not good.
Know, where's the proof that he's got? I've said some of the things I've supposed to said. It's almost like a tit for tat, right? That he's turning around and saying, I've said thing about Jones. Said, show me the evidence where I've said it. I have proof that people have said that to me, right? But at the end of the day, I haven't taken it any further. Whoever's making these malicious rumors and sending them back to him about what I've said, prove it. Show me where it is.
Well, that's it. That's what I've said at the beginning.
Show me. If you go back on Wake Up on one Sunday night, he did this shitty show as normal, and he came out of all these accusations. He wouldn't name names, but I was the only one sitting with him underneath this glass stairway, right? But Sharon or Noah Anjad was a witness in Cardiff, and she was witness to me giving Manny 40 quid to get a hotel room.
Is it?
Witness to a lot of going on, and she went on Dave's show the other night on LaGracious Live, and she was witness to everything that went on. And
did
she
you
said,
say this? Hang on, now. Did you say that this was a glass staircase?
Yeah.
You ain't got the postcode for this place, have you?
Yeah, it's called the. It's in Cardiff Bay. It's a Wetherspoons pub in Cardiff Bay, and I think it's called the Moon or something. I've got a picture of it.
Is it not called the Mooney?
Yeah.
It's called the Mooney, and it's got a glass staircase.
Yeah.
So you can sit under there with your pint of Wetherspoons, your cheap £2 pint, and you can look up and you can see ladies walking down the steps with their.
No, you can't. You can't.
Oh, you can't. Okay, so it's not glass, and just the treads are glass and not the thresholds.
Yeah, it's like a glass stairway, but it's like frosted glass.
Oh, it's frosted, so you can only see the outline of the G string and not from. That's
well,
all right.
You can't even see that. You can't even see that. You can see a shadow of somebody going up, but it's like a bluey frosted glass.
I'm thinking if it was actually clear see-through, I might go and have a few pints down there and a bit of grub. Sounds nice. Anyway, yeah, Al, listen, rise above it, bruvs. I used to say, Jesus Jones said, I used to sit under the stairs of the pub and look up the skirts many moons ago. I was young, yeah, the Moon Bar. What are you doing, ladies? I'm off to the Moon Bar to moon away. Moon away, yeah. It's tough, isn't it? You know, it is tough when people come in and just have digs at one another. If I had a beef with someone, I haven't really got the time to have a beef with someone because I just don't think there's any goodness in it. But I'd ring them and say, wait, what's this about? I wouldn't just go and blur it all out. Anyway, but it is what it is, Al. Go on, what's it?
This is my beautiful Kathy.
Oh, bless her heart. Is she all right?
I don't even see that.
She looks like the Abigail. She looks like the singer in ABBA.
I'm trying to find this picture now because I've got to show you it.
Cockney Patriot says you can in blue water. Al, rise above it. Don't worry about it. You're all good, man.
But it's not nice, man. I mean,
no, it's not nice. But listen, you've got to expect it because this stuff happens. Well, it does. It does happen. It does. You don't know if someone had a shit day. You don't have to come on their period.
Don't keep it going for weeks and weeks and weeks. He did it on hijacked Delroy's show and said that he's going to tell all about the truth of what happened in Cardiff, and he was going to do a live, and then he went missing for 3 weeks, and then he, literally hijacked Del's show. And I would never ever go on. I shouldn't be really talking about this on your show. This is your.
No, you're all right. No, you're all right. Look, I mean, Alison Goulding
actually doing this.
Alison Goulding's just come out of a good one. She said, "Problem is, it might be a geezer bird coming down the glass stairs." Well, there's a good side of that because it gives you something to hang on to when you've had 4 pints. Stops you falling over, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Alison, it's lovely to see you. Jesus Jones in as always. Do you know Jesus Jones is always the first individual in on my shows every week in the chat room, and God bless him. That is someone that's sorry. And someone shared a picture of me yesterday with Davy Russell and Stevie Lang when we was in London near Hyde Park a couple of years ago, and it was a freezing cold day, and we was having a belly of grub and quite a few beers it was a beautiful day. So Stevie Lang, mate, proper patriot, lovely, lovely fella, and Davey Bossman too. Al, I won't. How can I put this? If I listen to what people say, there's people that troll me on YouTube. I laugh. There's websites. If you type David Witcher in to Google, you'll see all these people have dedicated so much time into trolling me and making little cartoons and pictures. But I literally sit here, Al, and I just wet my pants. I have to put a tenner lady in because I just find it amusing that people would spend so much time into trying to discredit me. But mate, listen, there's no, if you did it, the old bill would probably been round, a woman would have been making allegations. So, it's a nonsense. And Sandy, look, if you're listening, mate, you got to beat with someone, ring them up. Don't have to go out,
I asked if that could happen, and there's but I want this to go away. I want this to, because it's made, this type of thing shouldn't be happening between people that have gone through what they've gone through. And all this rubbish is a complete and utter nonsense. It shouldn't happen, and it's just blown out of all proportion, and it's dragged other people into it, and it's all wrong. And
you should never get involved in skirmishes like that. Someone rang me 2 years ago. I'm going to be honest. Dave, what's the matter? Oh, you pals with Chrissy Morris, right? I said, yeah, me and Chrissy. Well, Chrissy's been done at this, he's been done at that. I said, have you got any proof?
Yeah.
But I said, no, where's your hard evidence that Chris has done this and Chris has done that? I said, if you bring in the evidence, I'll consider it. But until then, it's just, you're just tittle tattle. It's idle tit tat. And Al, we got bigger and better things to be doing. One of my stories I want to cover this week is a gentleman in Yorkshire that's fighting for this dad to get his son back. He's got a 14-year-old kid that's in care right now, that's had puncture wounds in him, that's been having to take to hospital, where social workers are sitting so close to him, he can't tell the hospital staff the truth of what's going on. Wow. He's had his head slammed into the wall 3 or 4 times and been concussed, and it's sick. And my mate is really, really trying hard to get this kid home to his dad, and it upsets me beyond belief that one is going on in our country, and 2, that we've allowed these people of so-called system that work for the crown, we just trust them blindly. But it is blind faith, let me tell you, because these people they've got wings, but they're bat wings. They're not angel wings for sure, because you can't do stuff like that. You can't abuse the children. And as I say, everyone sits at home, puts their fingers in their ears. They're too busy. They ain't got time to listen to it. Well, I just hope it never affects them, and I hope it never affects any of their family mates. So look, come on here tonight, have a giggle. I just
want to show that it's impossible to be able to see anything. I'm trying to think what the name of the booze was.
Do you know what, Al? I did see it. I did see someone mention something about it, and I just skipped it because I thought Alan wouldn't do that. He's not that kind of man.
I would listen, David.
Kerry Ann says, even if you did say these things after a drink and having a giggle, you're allowed to joke around and take the pressure off home life. Shame people can't take a joke. And ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? We seem to have lost our chuckle muscle. Everyone's, you give the girl 40 quid to go and get an hotel room. I mean, I'd say that's quite a very nice.
Well, being on the streets, they want to be on the streets of Cardiff. But
there you go, bless you.
And so, and she was crying her eyes out about what had happened. They were in the motorhome and they wouldn't let them have some blankets. They wouldn't let them use the toilet. The ladies had to go into the car park to have a piss if they wanted to go toilet. And so she was quite distressed about it all. There was drink and drugs involved or something. But this is what people say and this is what people do. And it's like the Mad Axe murder. By the time it gets to the bottom of the road, it gets out of all proportion and it's all nonsense and silly. And but I will find that before let you carry on, David, because I don't want to hijack your show.
Mate, you're not hijacking nothing. You've got a grievance, come in and air it. But like I said,
one of Dave's and he said have a chat with David and talk about it. And I said, but listen, I don't want a causal fucking war with anybody. You know, why 1 minute are you brothers from another mother? You know, campaigners like you've been campaigners and been on the same street. I've been up to in many occasions to support him, and why would I turn like that? I don't know.
Alan, we do what we do because our hearts tell us to do it. We don't do it for favor. We don't do it for accolade. We don't do it for respect. We don't do it for anything. We do it because we care.
Yeah,
that's the truth of the matter. You do what you do because you care about the kids. You care about the abuse in the care homes because you've been through it.
Yeah.
And you don't want anyone else to go through it. And if your efforts in what you do in the world has an effect and stops this bestiality system, then you've done what you come into the world to do, mate. You know, Chrissy Morris is saying, he said, I've been accused of everything now. He said, murdering my dad and abducting Maddie McCann. Now, Chrissy covered he covered the Maddie McCann thing a few years ago in great depth. Wow. And I'm going to tell you now that he said that after investigation that they reckon that Maddie was dumped into landfill via one of their bins that come from their restaurants. Now, their bins get collected late at night out in Praia da Luz and in Portugal because of the heat. And that she probably got took off in a wagon and ended up in landfill with millions of tons of stuff on her. So Chrissy's going to be targeted. I'll get targeted. You go on YouTube, type my name in, you'll have one of the biggest laughs you've ever seen in your life. But I don't give a fuck. I seriously don't care. It's not affecting me in my life. And it's just tit for tat. It's, you know, even when I was at school, I never sort of noticed the sticks and stones. If there was a punch up, I'd have a punch up. But I've never, he said this, and I've just got no time for it, mate. I've got no time for it, and nor should you.
I should not even be entertaining it, but at the end of the day, when I'm going through, you know,
it chinks your armor. It chinks your armor. It does chink your armor. It's going to chink your armor because you care.
I've sat here at nights with no telly on, no nothing on the settee, and I've just bawled my eyes out because I've been with a woman for fucking 40 years.
I know, mate. Yeah, and you love her.
Fucking love her. I worship her.
There you go. There you go. And you know, oh man, there's a clip of a film that I've watched this week. It's a Robin Williams film, and it's Dreams Come True, and it's about how he passes away, and he's
what's that pub's called?
The
Mount.
The Mount.
Yeah.
Oh, with the glass see-through staircase.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I did see someone share a picture of it, and I see Alan Merritt. But I just thought, you know what? I'm not interested.
It's called the Mount in Cardiff Bay. It's a Witherspoons, and if anybody Googles Witherspoons Cardiff Bay, they should come up with a pub called the Mount, and it shows clearly the glass staircase, but it's like a bluey sort of green frosted glass. And I was looking up because I didn't want somebody pouring a pint over my head. I didn't want somebody spitting in my food or dropping something in it. I would subconsciously, you know, when you're all sitting somewhere and something catches your eye.
Alan, Al, you don't have to justify yourself, bruv. It's simple. You don't have to justify it. Look, you just don't. If you want to look up and you're in a pub, fuck it, look up. If there's a woman walking down the stairs and she's got a skirt on and this, that, the other, so what? It doesn't matter. It really. Chris is coming in now. Now there's two good-looking bald men in the house.
Hi, Chris. How you doing, man?
How we doing, gents? You all right? Dave, remember the T-shirt?
Yeah, baby.
If I get cut off, guys, it's I apologise. My battery on this is low. I'll jump on and come back off. The gentleman in the middle there, trolling is something that, I mean, Dave knows about trolls. I definitely know about trolls. Just a quick one that Dave can totally sort of like, you know, back me up on. Me and Dave did a documentary on bailiffs. When was that, Dave? 2016, 2017?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, they saw one of my bailiff videos. They liked what I was doing. I made it quite entertaining. So they got in touch with me and said, like, can we do a bailiff documentary? And it's going to be, one that is going to be good for the people, not for the bailiff industry.
Yeah.
A lot of the people in the bailiff world and stuff that me and Dave was in were a little bit worried that we was going to be made to look really bad. So I've done a bit of TV and stuff like that. I've worked in security at the BBC, so I had half an idea of what to expect and sort of like the pitfalls and stuff like that. So I spent 6 months basically saying to people, Dave was one of the few people that actually saw it through, come onto this documentary, because what I wanted to show was that it's not a one-man band. It's not me versus the bailiff industry. It's everyone, a good group of people working for free, doing it because it's the right thing. And I was trying to get, because, if you look at the panel now, you've got 3 good-looking white men. What we need is we need more ladies. We need more ladies involved. We need all sorts of people to. You're good looking. Stop hiding. We need more different, people involved, so that everyone has got sort of like a bit of representation, so that we can take everything forward. Rather than being just sort of like 3 good looking bald white men. Dave's not bald. And basically what happened was I tried to get everyone involved, but I tried to get some ladies involved, but then the trolls started, and they started saying, they're going to make you look really bad. They're going to edit it like this, and they're going to edit it like that. And I was like, you know what? I don't think they are. And we ended up doing it, Dave, didn't we? It was, at the time, I think it was the second most popular bailiff, the second most popular documentary show that Channel 4 had ever put on. So we did really well. It got through a lot of people. Everything went mad afterwards. And we reached out to a lot of people. Then the trolling started, and we got all the trolls coming on us, and the bailiff industry was actually paying people to troll us. Dave, you only had a snippet in it, didn't you? I ended up doing quite a bit on there, and the trolling was incredible. And like I said in the chat, guys, they accused me of murder. They phoned the coroner up and told the coroner that I'd murdered my dad. Yeah, he wasn't even buried at the time. He wasn't even in the ground. They've said that I've abducted Madeleine McCann. They've said that I was a gravedigger for the Krays. On top of that, they said I'm a woman beater, a drug dealer, a paedophile. You name it, they will say it. And the thing is, they'll look to see whether or not it's bothering you. So there'll be trolls out there right now watching this, rubbing their little horrible little greasy hands together. You can't show them that you're bothered. You've got to have a thick skin. You've just got to let it go straight over your head. Don't feed them. What they need is your attention. Because there's one thing worse than bad attention, and that's no attention.
Well said.
So don't talk about them. Don't engage with them. I'll be completely honest with you. I've had the worst troll that I've ever met was phoning me 250 times a day.
Unbelievable.
Was talking to an empty phone, because basically when he was phoning 250 times a day, what I was doing was I was thinking, you know what? If I let him do his bit, if I just turn the phone on and let him talk to an empty phone, hopefully he'll say what he's got to say and then leave me alone for a day or two. So his personal record of phoning and speaking to an empty phone, because I wouldn't engage with him, is 1 hour and 46 minutes.
True.
And when I say 1 hour and 46 minutes of rant, I mean 1 hour and 46 minutes of rant. You can sit through 10 minutes of this idiot, and he would have called you a paedophile 20 times, threatened to kill you 10 times. See you next Tuesday. The guy can rant literally, and I've never met him, by the way. He can rant for 1 hour and 46 minutes and then to an empty phone. But that sort of crazy you'll do your head in trying to work out why they're doing it, because it makes absolutely no sense. And the thing is, they'll be watching your life to work out how to get you. So always beware of people that are.
It's funny you should say
people that are too clever.
Sorry.
No, go on, bro.
It's funny you should say that because, and I'll make way for a minute because Jesus Jones and a few others join us. But Dave knows that I'm really, really good friends with John Wedger, and John Wedger has had his trolls personified. You wouldn't believe the amount of trolls. It's the old cliche. They seem to think once a copper, always a copper. He works for MI5, MI6. He's still a servant of the fucking whatever the case might be. This man took them on. He was being paid until 2017, 20 whatever it was when his court case was, and he was exonerated. And basically, they didn't win, nor he wouldn't win. But they split it down the middle and say nobody wins. Blah blah blah. You can't say this about them. They can't say this about you. But John went on to still name Chrysander Dick and fucking few others. But yeah, I can understand totally where you're coming from, and we've seen it ourselves, and I know exactly what you mean because they were taking pictures of his house, his cars, he's got his children involved, went to his work and putting them online. How fucking disgraceful is that? And like you say now, I'm probably a sensitive guy through what I went through in, 6.
And your wife's in hospital as well, so you're going to be sensitive.
She's end of life treatment. She's been.
So, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna be because you've got the world on your shoulders, haven't you? And
and then I'm being attacked as well for if I do something wrong, David, I'm the first person to put my hand up. But I worship my wife. Why would I? Listen.
We lost Chrissy. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I do know.
I don't want to talk about it anymore because it should have been buried a long time ago. I offered my phone number out weeks and weeks and weeks ago to get it sorted so it didn't go to this extent.
Alan, is the woman making any allegations against you?
No, I haven't heard her say one thing.
Oh, well, there you go then. Why worry about it?
Yeah, but why would you say something like that?
Because people are people, Al. Unfortunately, people are people, and that's just how it is. Evening, James.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm all right, very well. Very, very, very well, my friend. And what about you? I do love that beard you got going on. It's very sporting. It suits you, doesn't it?
You think so?
Are we putting any beard oil in there or something? Because you got look like you've got some sort of a mojo going on right now. Some chemistry.
No, I don't do male grooming. I've never done male grooming. Yeah?
Hey, you got to be careful how you say grooming on here. Jojo, you're in the house as well. We've got the Jojo in.
Hey, I'm Dave. How we doing?
I'm all right, son. How are you? Whereabouts are you?
I'm down Oxford way at the minute.
Are you? What are you doing? Saying nice? Is it a covert operation?
Yeah, well, if I tell you, I'd have to kill you, so let's not go down that road.
Don't
but
forget,
listen,
go
on. I've come on for some advice and some help.
Okay, I need to do sexual problems on a Friday.
Oh, right. What time should it best to ring you at?
9 o'clock on a Friday for sexual problems. Yeah, go on, mate. What's up?
My 3-year-old granddaughter has been taken into care tomorrow.
Oh.
I remember you saying some time ago the swines were coming after you.
Yeah, and they've given her to a fucking gay couple.
Oh.
She's 3 years old. She still needs intimate care. Do you understand?
Jesus.
And they are giving her to fucking men that will have to strip her, wash her, do her bathroom stuff, do her toilet stuff. Are you fucking me?
What is going on in this country?
It's getting out of hand, is all this shit.
It is getting
She's
really...
3 years old.
Mate, that's... Why? Where's the order? Is there a judge or someone sign an order for this?
Yeah, on Tuesday.
No, have they signed an order? Is a judge signed an order?
Yeah, last Tuesday.
Right, so you need a copy of the order.
Can I ask what jurisdiction is it? What country is it? I heard the gentleman's got an Irish accent.
It's
in South Wales.
Welsh, so that basically. Have they looked to put the little girl with any family members at all? Because that's what they're supposed to do.
They're slow walked it.
There's no one.
They're slow walking it. 16 weeks checks.
Fuck's sake.
So where is she currently, please, Guff? Is she still at home? Is she with family?
She's with her other nan.
Right. So is there any reason why the other nan can't continue to have her in her care?
Yeah, they said she failed the Section 26 check.
26. What's the 26? I know the 37 and...
I have no... because she has an autistic child in the house that's 4, and he's quite autistic, so they said something about fear of violence or something or other.
The kids are money, aren't they? The kids are the new gold, man. They're the new currency.
£600 a week, Dave. £600 a week.
They're the new currency. The kids are the currency.
Well, I mean, look, I understand some people. Look, I don't. So I shouldn't fucking say that because that's nonsense. I don't. But it's a girl.
Yeah. Governor, can I give you a bit of I won't call it advice, I'll call it an opinion. If you turn around and say anything about giving a female child to 2 men, they'll instantly write you off as a homophobe and blah blah blah, and and that's it. You won't be listened to again. Honestly, I mean, I'm not homophobic at all or anything like that.
Nor am I.
At the end of the day, love is love. If it's 2 men, 2 women, whatever, love is love. But I totally see where you're coming from. That little girl, age 3, still needs to, intimate care, as you said. I totally get you. The thing is, if you complain that there's 2 men, that they'll just literally they'll stonewall you, mate.
Oh, I understand that too. I Chrissy, I totally understand that too. The point I'm making is, right, they're gay, fine, but at the end of the day, they're men. Yeah, and this is a girl. That's my point.
Yeah.
What's the matter with the mother? Why has the child been taken?
Oh, fuck's sake, we don't have time for all that.
Oh, right, okay.
We want to be careful as well because it might, if anyone's watching and stuff like that, there's strict confidentiality when it comes to kids and stuff, innit? So I've got to be really careful with that.
Well, look, this guy I've been I'm not helping. He's a legend in his own right. He's got a 14-year-old kid that he's been in care for a year. His dad's never raised hand. He wants to go and live with his dad. He loves his dad dearly. He's in care in some boys or children's institution at the moment. He's been to hospital in the last couple of weeks with a puncture wound. He's been slammed up against the wall 3 or 4 times and concussed by people that work in this care home. I mean, fucking hell, what is going on?
How old is he, Dave?
14. 13,
right, so from age 12, it's called Gillick competence. Right. From age 12, you are regarded as being Gillick competent, which means you can basically you get a choice in what's going on. Now, unless that kid is literally getting caught shoplifting and smashing windscreens of cars and doing all sorts of naughty stuff, he should be able to literally go to the family court and say to them, "I want to be here." And as long as
they've not found any original order. There's no court that's got an original order for this kid to be taken into care in the first place. The council can't produce it and the courts can't produce it.
So how did he get in care, mate? Because basically, there's only 2 ways. The parents can put the kid in care voluntarily, or, the local authority apply to, have them in care. So what way was it, Dave?
I don't know. I know that there was a breakdown in the relationship with the mother and the father, but the father always wanted to have the boy, and the boy wants to go and live with his dad. He said, my mate went and interviewed him at school or somewhere the other day, because the police, my mate said, basically, if the police don't go and do the investigation, I'm going to do it myself. And my mate's very frisky with the law. He's ex-military and he knows his stuff. And he said, listen, boy, he said, I don't want no lies. I just want the truth. You don't have to big anything up. Just tell it how it is. Has your dad ever raised an hand to you? No. Fabulous. Where do you want to live? He said, I want to go and live with my dad. I love my dad. And he's still in care and he's being abused. He's been to the hospital in the last week or 2. He's got puncture wounds and he's been smacked up the walls by one of these people that are supposed to be looking after him in this children's home. I mean, fuck's sake.
I mean, he's just got to go through basically just go through the official channels, put a complaint into the old bill, use the old bill. You know, just literally use the old bill. If he's been assaulted in that home and he don't feel safe there, you know, I mean, that is basically domestic violence.
It is.
He should be allowed to move out because of domestic violence. And if there's nothing that's stopping the dad, is the dad, I mean, you know, this is where you need the devil in the detail. Because if the dad's on the birth certificate, we need to know why the kid's in care. We need to know how they got the kid in care. We need to know if there's anything that's stopping, you know, the dad. I mean, you know, if he's got any convictions or anything like that, that they're trying to say the kid can't live with him because he is a criminal, for instance, or, you know, there's so much to it. And it's always the fine detail that sort of like, you know, that matters. But basically, Gillick test is the test that they apply to a child to see whether or not a kid is, you know, can consent. Make their own consents, if you see what I'm saying. And if the kid wants to move in with a dad at 14, I can't see how they'll stop him.
No. The kids, I think the kid's 12 or 14. What bothers me as well in this courts is they use these terms, they throw these terms around. Oh, we believe that there might be future mental abuse or physical abuse. I mean, that's a thought crime, mate. That's 1984. Where's the proof and evidence?
I mean, I can see, you know, there's always the good and the bad, and there's always the extremes to both ends. And for instance, you know, if, for instance, you had a drug addicted couple that was trying to get their kid out of care, and, you know, they said, well, I'm sorry, but until you're off the drugs, we're not going to give, you know, you care of a child because you're both drug addicts and you're both might fuck up at the same time, do drugs to get, you know, you can see how sometimes they do have to think ahead.
But what about what bothers me about this as well is this court system. The children's courts are closed down. They're like star fucking chambers that Adolf had, right? There should
can I stop you there? Can I just stop you, Dave? Sorry, mate. I've got to say it. The family court system is by far the most corrupt system, government system I have ever encountered. Mate, it is shockingly bad. Shockingly bad. I know, organised criminals, organised crime bosses that are better to children than the family court system, mate. You will never win in a family court. Yeah, the only people that win in a family court are the overpaid vultures that literally take thousands of pounds for doing as good as fuck all.
Don't you remember, Dave, when we went to Holborn, the family court with Leanne, and I was there with Dave and Piers Corbin. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember seeing you go there, yeah. It's there should have to be like a jury there. There should have to be a panel of the people saying, well, we don't see just cause that you should be taking that fucking child. It should never be one or two judges sat there deliberating on the future of a fucking living soul like that. And especially when you've got the incentive. See, money corrupts everything. Yeah. They're £600 a fucking week. Of course they're going to steal them. Of course they're putting them into care because they're the new gold. They're the new fucking currency.
Yeah.
Well, what country gets off on selling kids, for crying out loud?
They're worth more than drugs, David.
Shit.
You know, they say that, don't they? They say that you can use a drug once, but you can use a child time again. So
well, my mate was a counsellor, a bit like Chrissy was, independent in Maidstone. She went to a full council meeting one night with social services, and there was a guy there at the time called Peter Gilroy. I don't give a fuck about putting people's names out there. And he'd had a few glasses of wine, and he was eating all of his canapes and having a nice time. And he said to my mate, he said, you know what? I'm going to take 1,000 more children off families next year. And she looked at him, she said, why? He said, because I can.
Yeah.
Because I can.
I've had that word used many a time.
Mate, we are sick beyond belief. Do you know what? I've got to be honest with you. Most of the time nowadays, I wish I never knew what I knew. I wish I was asleep. I wish I was just listening to Britney Spears and fucking going out and having a good time because it's wrecked my life in many ways. I do.
Direct
I
money.
was in the top of the pops and all that, and that I do, but I'm not.
So it is a quick one for you then, right? I mean, we're all in agreement that the system and the fuckers in it, excuse my French, are crooked as fuck.
Absolutely.
They are
Yes.
awful, right? They really are awful. I mean, you know, and I speak from experience. There was 31 councillors in the council I was in. 10 of them were corrupt. 20 of them were fucking useless. And probably half a dozen to 10 were okay. And almost all of them were useless. Yeah, 20 odd of them were useless. Now, what we all know is that we need to do better. So why don't we all stand up? Literally, guys, I can't tell. I know it might be going against the grain. And when I first thought about doing it, I spoke to my dad, God rest his soul. And I said to my dad, I said, Dad, I've been asked to take on the local Tory that's almost certainly going to win. They need me because I've got a big social media. They want me to stand against him. I'm the only person that they think, you know, in the local community that can beat him. And my old man, he turned around to me, he said, right, son, he said, imagine you've got a tank. And I went, yeah. And he went, right, the tank's armed, loaded, rolling, and it wants to kill you. And I went, okay. And he went, you've got a fork. So me being a clever fucker, I said, what sort of a fork, Dad? A sort of like, you know, a table fork or a garden fork, you know, a trident sort of fork. What have I got? And he went, a fork, just ordinary table fork, son. I went, okay. He went, how are you going to defeat the tank with a fork? And there's me, and I'm thinking, right, do I sort of like sneak the fork in the old barrel of the gun, you know? And, you know, I was like, how am I going to do this? And he went, son, it's really simple. Yeah, you get inside the fucking tank and stab them all with a fork. You won't do it from the outside. You'll do it from the inside. That's the only chance you've got. And I'm like, right. And he went, so get inside the tank, mate. And that is how you will beat the tank when you're inside it. You ain't going to beat it on the outside. No. So all us guys, every single person that's in this chat and on these cameras right now, have a look at becoming a councillor in your local council, and it might go against the grain, but fuck me, you'll get so much more done. You won't believe how much you can bring up in them meetings because they cannot stop you talking. Yeah,
are you still in it, Chris? Are you still in it?
No, mate, no. They got me out with the with that conviction.
Right.
But look at it this way, guys. I mean, you know, I've got recordings and videos of people threatening to stab me. You know, I mean, Dave, how many videos have we got of bailiffs breaking the law, assaulting people and whatever else? Yeah. They decided to look at everything I was doing, and because I walked down the road next to my kid's school after my kid's school gave me an appointment, they threw the book at me. Yeah, that you know, it's one of them things where they will look for anything they can do to get you out, and that's basically what they've done.
What's interesting since Bob White's case, and I was over at Bob's the other Friday when the bailiffs turned up, and the police wouldn't turn up. They said we ain't got the resources. Well, they wouldn't do after that High Court case, and that judge said that the police were trespassers. They're never going to go back there. But ever since that, I'm now seeing, it's really funny how I watch all the social media stuff from all different platforms, and now people have found out about Bob White's case, and now they're saying to the police, you ain't coming in. You're not changing these meters. I've got the right to defend me castle. You're going to be trespassers and you're going to have no immunity. And the cop was like, okay, we're going back to the base. This is, mate, we are growing like there's no tomorrow now. Matt Le Tissier. I was watching a video with Matt Le Tissier earlier.
Brilliant.
Mate, he is bang on the money.
Well clued up.
What?
That, Sean Gizim won a thing the other day, didn't she?
He did.
Yeah, Sean did as well.
Is she still out of the country, or do we know? She's still
she's still out in Greece, I think.
She's in Greece. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She's done a few lives.
Yeah, that was another win.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Chris, I'm loving the Peacekeepers. That Peacekeeper website is phenomenal.
Yeah, I've got to touch base with them, mate. I've had so much going on. You know, they literally, mate. I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I've always been busy, but I'm proper overwhelmed right now. I've got a lot of stuff going on, so I've lost a little bit of touch with it. I've got to give them guys a ring up. But yeah, I know they're doing good things, mate, and they can run with it all.
What's the background on Mark Horn? Because is he an ex-solicitor or something? He's unbelievable.
I've spoken to him a couple of times. I've got to say I don't know much about him, but I'm impressed with what I've seen. We've had some really good chats and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, you know, he's putting the polish on the rocks that we've all known are there, if you see what I'm saying.
Oh.
So it's one of them things, Dave. We've always known this, but now that we've got, you know, sort of like a little bit of cohesion, and someone that can, you know, sort of like polish the sharp edges and stuff, it's getting there. It really is getting there.
There is no way that Malden District Borough Council can come back from what he sent them. No way.
No, well, they couldn't. I mean, and that was the beauty of me being in there, because as a councillor at the time, I was putting the questions in to the guys, the official title is the monitoring officer, the chief legal guy at my council, and he was having to answer me because I'm elected. Anyone else, he could have said putting a freedom of information request in, he could have, you know, sort of like bumped them off a little bit, but you know, we got a lot of work done that way. But I mean, it's not hard really. You don't even have to ask them, because all you've got to do is look at the legislation, and if it's not there, you can do it, basically. You know, it's like law is made, you know, so that it tells you what you can't do. It's not there to tell you really what you can do. That's left out of the law, if you see what I'm saying. And it's absolutely brilliant that now people are starting to see it en masse, what a fucking con it is. So,
well, as Mark said, if Parliament is sovereign, there would be no need for the courts.
Parliament is sovereign, there'd be no need.
Parliament is not sovereign. Because if Parliament can enact a law and everyone has to do it, there would be no there'd be no reason to go to court and discuss these things. Parliament isn't sovereign, and he proved that in his rebuttal. And it is bloody hell. He said, and in the Bill of Rights, it says you cannot do anything prejudiced to people, and we are being prejudiced right now. So back when Adolf was coming to power, he subverted that German constitution and that German Parliament, and that's exactly what's happened in this country. We've been subverted.
Yeah. Well, they want to try and replace the human rights with a Bill of Rights, don't they? It's on the 22nd, didn't it?
First in line, first in time. They can't get rid of the Bill of Rights because the Bill of Rights is the foundation of Parliament. They can't get rid of it.
Yeah, but they've done that under virtually COVID emergency powers, haven't they?
Yes and no. You can't. First in line, first in time. Magna Carta, they say it's all old stuff. It's not. It's first in line, first in time. It was written in perpetuity. It's forevermore. But because we've had these parliamentarians subvert our constitution, a bit like the Nazis did with the German parliament, they weren't interested in parliament once they got a stronghold of the country. And that's exactly where we are. Our constitutional law, the laws that are established and based in this country from the Glorious Revolution, that have been subverted. They're pushing them under the carpet and rough riding us.
Trouble is, though, Dave, they can sort of like say that, you know, they can undermine the laws. I mean, ultimately, you know, there's so much statute written that hasn't been repealed that is complete rubbish. You know what I mean? You know, the one I always go back to is the bale of hay in the back of a cab. You're supposed to have a bale of hay in the back of a taxi, ain't you? For your horse and all that sort of. It's still not repealed, apparently. Now, everyone knows that's a load of rubbish because we've got no horses, we've got cars. Yeah. But that's still there, so everyone laughs at that little bit of the law, and that's what they've done to the Magna Carta, you know, and they've basically undermined it. Now, I hate to say this, and I don't want to fall out of anyone, but the Magna Carta was actually null and void. It was void ab initio from the start, really, because
1297 there was 4, the others weren't.
Because it was signed at the point of a sword, wasn't it?
Not 1215, it wasn't. It was sold and signed with everybody in agreement, and that's what William the Marshal did, the first Earl of Pembroke. Even everyone's blessing. I mean, everyone's blessing, and that is part of the Da Vinci Code.
David, just a quickie. While I got here on my train of thought, never heard a word back from Adult Social Services.
that was part of them, wasn't it?
And I never paid a penny.
Good. Well, the thing was, Chris, they were coming after Al. They found out that the missus had some money in the bank, and Serco, that running the NHS, said, "Oh, we want like almost 30 grand." And I said to Alan, "Well, look, you can pay it." I said, "But the minute you pay it, you set a precedent. They're only going to come back in another 6 months for another 30 grand, then another." I said, "You've got to draw the line in the sand here now." Either the NHS is free at the point of delivery or it's not. Either we scrap it and we all pray, stop the taxes, we pay for our own insurance, our own health, no problem whatsoever. We all could afford to do that. But all the time, we're paying tax into the NHS and this, that, the other. It's free at the point of delivery. And if it ain't, well, we've got to make other choices.
I see Spear sitting there patiently, David.
Yeah, let him in. Spear, how you doing, Dolges?
I'm all right, mate. I'm just despairing for Joe at the moment. We need to organise some help for the guy.
Who?
It's fucking sick. Joe.
I know, it's disgusting. But these courts, mate, honestly, these judges that are allowing this to happen, I'm telling you now, as one of God's ambassadors, they're going to fucking hell.
Do they have to produce that court order before they take her?
Yes.
Bro, they should. They should, because an order needs to be circulated for it to have power, otherwise it's not served.
It needs to be stamped as well, doesn't it?
The trouble is, the family court are a fucking law to themselves.
Absolutely.
They're literally, I mean, the amount of fuck-ups that I've found in family court cases is astonishing. And they'd like you to think that they're inept, but they're not. They're just corrupt. But the trouble is, you can't take it anywhere because there's no scrutiny.
No.
You can't go to a newspaper and go, "Mate, look at this. This is awful."
No,
That's the trouble.
Yeah, there's no scrutiny, and they know it. So they'll do whatever they want in the safe knowledge that they're never going to be pulled on it, because all they've got to do is go, "Oh, family court confidentiality, you're nicked," and they'll give you 6 months for it. Family court confidentiality breach.
Like that as well, and it's unbelievable what I've seen a few things that happened in the fucking courts, because I've been with Charles and a couple of things. We went with Angie to Merseyside and fucking Bootle, and I've been with Dave when we went to fucking. We've been a few just recently, and like fucking Chrissy saying, the corruption is personified.
Yeah. One thing I picked up from listening to Del over his shows is that the courts often use a fake seal. The stamp that's court documents or a court order, they'll use a stamp that's, I think it's like rectangular in shape. And an official proper court seal is round. So you've got to pay close attention to the signatures and the seals on these court documents, because you can throw it right out when you can pull those seals apart. You can get any.
In a family, you can't complain to anyone other than the judge in the case, really.
Yeah.
That's the trouble.
Why do we live in this paper world where paper fucking controls everything? What is that all about? I've never understood the paper system.
Because it can be lost.
Yeah, just a quick one. If you have a look at family court judges, and this is just my experience, I'm not saying that this is anyone else's, but my experience is that almost every family court judge can't be put in front of a jury or into a magistrate where there could be public watching them, because they've got a fundamental flaw with with something. Have a look at all the family court judges, and they're judges that they wouldn't put in front of a jury because the jury would be like, hang on a minute. And, very recently there was two barristers had a row with a judge. It was in a criminal case at Snaresbrook. And basically both barristers are getting, have been suspended by the Bar Association for mouthing off to the judge and telling the judge that he's speaking rubbish and stuff like that. And the point I'm making is they're having a go at, because I've read the articles backwards and forwards. Now they're having a go at the judge. They're having a go at the barristers for calling the judge rubbish, but they're not actually looking into whether the judge was rubbish. How funny is that? Barristers are as good as judges. Let's be honest, you know, a judge comes from you know, being a barrister, and you get recorders and stuff like that, you know, and it just makes you wonder. It's like, hang on a minute, have they actually looked to see whether or not what they were saying was right, rather than just looking to see whether the judge was offended because he has power and authority, and, you know, they weren't sycophants? Because that's everything. I'll tell you now, if you're in a family court system, right, and you are not the compliant parent, you are absolutely screwed. If you've got any gumption about you, if you've got your own mind, if you want for your child what is not deemed to be society's perfect, you know, thing, the family court will look at you and go, you're the rebel, you're not having your kids.
Yeah.
You know, that parent is doing everything correctly. They are literally kissing the right asses. They're a sycophant, you know, stuff like that. Family courts, mate, they are absolute hellholes. They're hellholes.
How long do we tolerate this for then?
Well, the thing is, until enough people stand up, it's gonna carry on. I mean, it's a fantastic swindle. I mean, you know, I know cases that have lasted 3 years that have had no actual change in the family setup. Let's say you've got, you know, two parents, one parent's got one kid, the other parent's got another kid. Yeah, that they go to court to try and get both kids into one household. And 3 years later, £250,000 of public money is spent on that case, and it's status quo. And
I don't think anything's going to change
they've
until we
made
get
the
like
relationship worse. The family talk. And for instance, yeah, you know, and I dealt with someone, and I won't say exactly how it happened, but he got the papers through, and he was late from work a couple of times in a month. So he got home late from work, bit of traffic. He said, sorry, love, traffic. Yeah. In the papers, they put that I'm just trying to remember the appellant states that the respondent, which is, you know, the dad, would come home late from work and give no reasonable excuse, which would cause anxiety for the children because they was waiting for him. And that is emotional abuse. I'm serious, man. I am so serious, right? If you turn up late for dinner twice in a month, they'll say that you regularly emotionally abused your children because you let them down because you got stuck in traffic for 20 minutes. That's the way they'll bill it.
Why are we using words like appellant and respondent? Why is it not the mother, the father, the man? What's
Dave? Let Chris Spear answer. Chrissy Spear was going to answer you a second ago, but he broke up.
Sorry, mate. Go on, mate.
Spear.
I was just saying, I don't think anything's really going to change until we get like Sri Lanka, pull them out of their houses and burn buildings.
Yeah.
Really.
Right. So I had this conversation. I had this conversation with a few people online today. I mean, the thing is, guys, yeah, Dave will tell you I'm pretty feisty. Yeah, I'm a doer, not a talker. Well, I'm a talker and a doer, really. And you know, I'll give it a lot of thought. Now, imagine society and government maybe is a house, and it's a house, and the foundations are okay. You know, the walls are okay. It's got a couple of panes of glass missing. It ain't got no heating. You know, maybe it needs a spruce up, needs a couple of tiles on the roof. The house is a little bit derelict, but it's sound. That is our society and our government. Yeah, we shouldn't burn the house down and demolish the house when we can fix it. Because living in tents while the house is demolished and rebuilt, yeah, is not what people will want to do. And that is our society. Yeah. The quickest way to defeat your enemy is make them your friend. Yeah. Get inside the derelict house, because right now, this society, this government, we're a derelict house. Get in there, tidy the house up, replace the windows, do the floors, liquor paint, make the house into better. Don't burn it down. Don't knock it down. That will cause so much grief, you know, in the painless way. And the thing is, I used to sit there and I used to go, you know what? I'm not having nothing to do with the political system because it's corrupt. Yeah. You know, I'm going to let it die. I'm sorry, guys. It's not going to die. We need to kill it. Yeah, and well, not even kill it. We need to make it work for us. We need to get inside the tank, and we need to stab the fuckers in the tank that have got bad intentions, and then take the tank over and make the tank work for the people. It's not going to be an easy thing to have a bloody rebellion. Yeah, that'll cost so much money, so much grief, so much hurt, so much pain. What we need to do is take over the system we've got.
You're assuming we've got decent foundations, and we haven't, because our foundations have been undermined. Our politics are bought and paid for. They've got no teeth. They can't stop people poisoning our skies with stratospheric aerosol injection. They can't stop us having jabs in our arms. They can't stop this 5G getting rolled out and poisoning us with radiation. They're all bought and paid for.
They are.
I get what you're saying, and it's not going to be an easy ride.
Not who the enemy is.
You're not going to have time to do it.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from, guys, but there is no real other alternative other than to try and make things better. And the only guaranteed way to fail is not to try. Yeah, that's the only guaranteed way to fail, not to try. So, see, the thing is, right, if we had independent members of parliament that were brave and not corrupt, they could start making a difference. Yeah, they'd get into you'd start off with a dozen of them, then maybe you'd get, a couple of score of them, and then there'd be the kingmakers in Parliament. They wouldn't have the numbers straight away, but all of a sudden, people would start to see what good politicians were. And when people went, hang on a minute, these independent guys are saying and doing all the right things, and they're voting with their conscience, rather than voting for whatever fucking party, has told them to vote for. They're actually, using their power to represent the people. All of a sudden, it would snowball. I'm telling you now, it would snowball. You get a couple of decent, brave, and they've got to be brave independents, not just people that go, I'm an independent, and they get into Parliament and then suck whatever, arse is more appealing to them. If I was in there, I'd get in there and I would literally think about who I'm representing and what I thought was best for them. And every decision I made would be something that my conscience could live with.
They're never going to let you get away with that. They're never going to let
that's why they got me out. That's why they got me out.
Yeah, but they'll rig the votes. They'll rig the votes. If independent people start winning, they'll just rig the votes. Yeah, we don't have an option of going down that road, because they'll just stop it and they'll say he's won. It's a secret ballot, for God's sake.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if we don't try, we'll never know. And like I said, it's not going to be an easy thing.
I pray that we've got time for that, but I really hope that we haven't.
That's why
if we can get Joe Biden in America with a dodgy vote, I'm sure they're going to stop us getting in with dodgy votes.
Well, if you think about it,
don't get me wrong, I'm totally with you on that. Them putting pencils in the ballot boxes and stuff like that was always a bit of a sort of thing, strange one. And there will be all sorts of hiccups and frauds and corruption on the way. But we've just got to keep going.
We only won Brexit because they cocked up and thought they were going to walk in, didn't rig it.
Amen.
But the thing is, though, has anyone ever really thought outside the box about Brexit? Yeah, because
the European Union, we haven't left it.
I think
I'll give you my quick thoughts on Brexit. Whatever way we chose, whatever way the referendum went,
we
were screwed. We were screwed. Yeah. What they done was they said, right, let's make the peasants think that they're getting a choice, and whatever they choose, we can then after turn around and go, well, we did warn you, and you did choose this, so it's your fault. Yeah, we've picked
our poison. The treaty screwed us over as well, didn't it?
Yeah, there's no way that anything in the current system is going to be legitimised by a referendum vote that basically was an illusion of choice. So and that is what the party system is right now. Whether you vote blue, whether you vote red, whether you vote yellow or green or anything like that, the party system is the illusion of choice. The only way we're going to be able to do it is to get independents in that will stand up, that will be brave, and that will make the decisions that the people want. I mean,
a better way would be to have our own parliament, an English parliament.
English parliament.
Run by the people,
Amen.
for the people.
Amen.
Yeah,
Right.
we've got that, but just not with the right
Why
people.
do we have to have this system? Why can't we have our own fucking system?
Amen. It's
So
coming.
get into the system, because
No,
I mean, when you think about it,
system, we start our own system.
We turn our back on that system.
but our system would not be legitimised.
We
doesn't have to be
we
legitimised.
legitimize it by numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, but we haven't got
our own
numbers.
parliament. We have parliament meetings. We get enough people to set up a parliament, and we have meetings, and we do it their way. We do it over Zoom. Yeah, we've not got the numbers. Them bastards do it. We can do it.
We've not got the numbers, though, guys. And the thing is, right, we wouldn't be taken seriously because we've not got the media behind us. We've not got the police behind us. We've not got, you know, the establishment behind us. The establishment would write us off as a load of kooks and you know, weirdos and hippies and whatever else. You know, we need the media behind. The media is the key to everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
Guys, I've got to dash because I've got to do something on the by-election that's on today.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. It's lovely to have you.
Yeah, nice
Dave,
to meet you.
I'll be on regular, mate. I mean, we've got some other things coming off, as you know. But guys, I love you. If you need any help with anything, just have a chat with Dave. Dave's got all my numbers and stuff like that. If I can help anyone, just let me know.
God bless you, Chrissy. Have a good evening.
Take it easy.
We've got 4 minutes left to the end of the show, guys and girls. Let's have a little bit of Jojo. Jojo, what's on your mind?
Well, was on my that's what was on my mind. I was just, you know, outraged a little bit, but
it's so sad. The corruption of the seed is unbelievable.
It's filthy.
Yeah, it is disgusting. Family courts are they're the devil's work. They are. I sit here and I often think, who is the closest to the devil in this country? And it is the family courts. They are devilish. And let them go to hell. They're going to inherit hell. Fuck them. I've got no time for these people stripping families, taking 3-year-old little girls away from families. They ought to go and hang themselves in the garden, as far as I'm concerned.
So first thing I need to do is get a copy of the court order.
Yeah, I would say, when I see the court order, thank you.
And it should have a signature on it.
A race seal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly would. Yeah, get on it. It's wicked. The family courts in this country they're shambolic, and the reason why they're doing what they're doing is they want to break the people of this country, and that has been their intention, to break us from day dot. You break the family, everything's game over. They get to pick and choose what they do, and they have stripped us. They've stripped all our families. They've stripped all of our assets, our houses, our inheritances. But you know what? We're going to take it all fucking back from them at some point. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
We really are. So, Jojo, I feel for you, mate, and I wish you all the best with that.
And you know the other worrying thing? All these jabs are coming in for the 2 to 5-year-olds, and they already knew she wasn't going to have it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Well, I would, I don't know. I've got loads of people that are stuck in France and places where they won't come home because they've run away from social services and the family courts. They've left the country and took their families with them, and they're having good lives. So our court system and the people that run it are Luciferian, mate. I'm sorry to say, and I don't care if they're watching, they are Luciferian. They really are. God bless you, Jojo. I hope it goes well. James, what do you want to say before we go?
Before what?
Before we go, we've got 2 minutes left, bruv. What's on your mind?
Nothing really. I just think that the whole system's a joke. You saw what I went through with that family court business. Yeah,
disgusting.
They know what they're doing. I fucking explained it to them, Anna, straight to her face. Yeah, they're corrupt, and they'll just totally fucking ignore everything that's going. You can't win with them.
And they commit perjury like eating sweets.
Well, because
Malfeasance in a public office. They're committing every crime under the bastard sun.
they're weaponized. That's the thing. They're weaponized. They've got men with machine guns and asps and tasers. They're weaponized. They have subverted our parliament. They've subverted the constitution. They have done what the National Socialist Party did in 1930s Germany. Gentlemen, we've got 1 minute left. Alan, what do you want to go out with?
I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat, because you had some really, really great response from the chat tonight. Thank you to all the guys that are in the screen, and David, it's always a pleasure.
God bless you, man. Thank you. And Spear Throw, we've got to hear from the Spear.
Yep. Right. I'll be in the foxhole afterwards if anyone wants to join.
We're doing Snakebite in the foxhole. Snakebite.
Right, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I drop a link in?
I want to thank my guests tonight, Spear Throw, Alan Merritt, James, Jojo, and a good-looking Chrissy Morrison. For all of you that have tuned in from all over interwebland, we will see you all very much next week.
Jojo.
We're out.
All.